The Select Committee on Sexual Violence and Harassment was here in Sudbury on April 8th as part of a province-wide tour to gather advice and recommendations with respect to the prevention of sexual violence and harassment, and to improving the response to Ontarians who have experienced sexual violence and harassment. The committee heard from survivors, frontline workers, advocates, and experts on the issues. Presenters gave insight to shifting norms and barriers that are preventing people from coming forward to report abuses. The advice collected will guide recommendations presented to the Ontario government on dealing with systemic sexual violence and harassment.
First of all, I'm very grateful with our partnership with the Greater Sudbury Police Service, and some fantastic work has been done in Sudbury. And one of the reasons why I'm so happy for this partnership is because in this provincial survey that was done by TransPulse, they found that approximately 1/4 of the transgender population have experienced police harassment because they are transgender. And so when looking at whether or not to report this kind of harassment and violence, that is something that is weighing on the individual's mind. Will I be re-victimized when I report this?
You should need to focus on the harm reduction, the risk intervention, and the prevention and education in these sexual violence and harassment cases. These cases are unique, and they have a different set of circumstances that make them hard to investigate. But not only that, they make it hard for people to want to come forward. Sometimes there's barriers there in the reporting process, in the investigative process, in the court process.
One of the issues here that I would like to point to in your northern communities is that in Elliott Lake, we do not have rape kits at our hospital, and women have to be transported 2.5 hours to another hospital to have a rape kit done. Not only that, the woman is transported to that hospital for 2.5 hours in an OPP cruiser, which is the start of the feeling like you are the criminalized person. The backseat of an OPP cruiser is not conducive to a victim. The other issue is also that in many of these communities in the north, we do not have enough female police officers. In this case, this client was accompanied by a female officer. In another case that we have encountered, the woman was accompanied to Sault Ste. Marie for 2.5 hours in a cruiser with 2 male officers after being raped. We would like recommendations that small communities have rape kits and trained professionals at all hospitals. It is very traumatizing, re-traumatizing, re-victimization to make someone ride in a cruiser for 2.5 hours after a trauma assault to get that test. I'd like a recommendation that we still need to deal with our system, our provincial system of how men are charged and what is needed to prove that, and believing a woman when she comes forward. Even if she dresses differently, even if she uses substances, that does not mean that rape did not happen.
Sudbury was the first stop on a week-long tour that will continue to hold hearings in Thunder Bay and Sioux Lookout. The committee will then present an interim report to the Ontario Legislature in June and submit a final report mid-December. For northernlife.ca, I'm Alka Viegas.